that,
Marco Andretti starting on pole for our main event tonight. So starting lineup coming across the bottom of your screen. Average finishing position in our two heat races tonight. Marco with a second and a third gets pole position with Tony Stewart alongside him. And we're one lap away from the green flag.
For as mad as Tony Stewart was, he's still on the front row, so that's looking great.
Our progressive race analysis. There's how it's unfolded so far. Interesting flip and flop between the NASCAR and IndyCar drivers as far as success in the two heats. And now we go 100 laps. Caution laps count until we get to the final 10. Got to have 10 green flag laps to finish it. It's Andretti and Stewart as this crowd comes to its feet for the green flag of the SRX main event.
Great start by both guys on the front row. Super even into 1 and 2. Going to battle it out here into 3 and 4 as well.
Greg Biffle lurking there in the gold car in third. Bobby Labonte and Ryan Newman sliding a little bit sideways off turn 4 as they race side by side.
No new tires for this final main event tonight like we were supposed to have in Pensacola, but everything got quite warm and wore out very, very quickly.
Tony Stewart edges in front of Marco Andretti and grabs the race lead. Newman still working to the inside of Bobby Labonte.
Tony is going to be very hard to unseat from the lead with how angry he's been tonight, and he's clearly taking no prisoners. His good friend Marco Andretti, that was cleaner than I expected it to be, but I can't wait to see how he continues to lead here.
You can work up quite an appetite driving one of these race cars as you look at our Whoop Live calories burned.
Well, I can promise you how they're going to refill those calories later, and it's not food, and it's definitely going to be beer. Maybe Michael Waltrip's beer.
Well, by the way, somebody, we do pay attention to the social media. Somebody asked, how is Michael Waltrip sponsoring Helio Castroneves' car? Michael and some associates have a beer line out, and they have a tap room, actually, here at South Boston Speedway.
And I promise I will be visiting it later. I can't wait to try the Michael Waltrip Brewery here.
There's the Castroneves car with Michael Waltrip Brewing on its side. Michael will be happy when he watches the race replay. First is Tony Stewart. Marco Andretti is second. Greg Biffle is third. Then Bobby Labonte still managing to fend off very determined Ryan Newman. Now, Newman's car under the 20-minute break between the second heat and the main event, they put a new right front tire on that machine from some of the contact and bouncing off other people he did as he worked his way forward.
Well, I'm sure a lot of people can notice a lot of the writing on the tires of these Goodyear tires have been rubbed off because, well, everyone's hitting each other. So as soon as those little words go away on the side of the tire, it could be damaged. And so obviously Ryan had to get a new one.
Tony Stewart moving up and using that outside line. That's tempting Marco Andretti, who's looked inside him a couple of times for the race lead.
And that's a very, very smart move by Tony. Using a higher line can sometimes save your tires, but also it's very difficult for the guy underneath you to try to make that work unless he forces the door like that.
So Marco Andretti back to the race lead. Just 10 of 100 laps, now 11 as they come to the start-finish line. They click off the laps in a hurry here. They're running 16-second laps here at South Boston.
Tell you what, there's a little bit more contact, and these guys are really getting after it. But honestly, that was a little soft of Smoke there to let Marco go as easy as he did. So I think he'll have some payback here later.
Who was the driver? Ken Schrader always said that. Of course, Ken serving as one of the SRX test drivers setting up one of these cars. He always said, you take markers in a race.
Yes, indeed.
And sometimes you cash them back in.
I can promise you, drivers never forget. But champions have short memories.
Yep.
Helio probably hasn't even remembered that he took out Paul Tracy right now. All he cares about is going forward.
Oh, I'll bet he's remembered.
He will when Paul feeds at the bumper.
He sees that lime green car around him, and he sure will.
I think we should probably talk to Tony Stewart. What do you think? He's been very kind to talk to us under green flag motor racing, and maybe he's going to be angry to talk to, which I can't wait for.
Okay.
Tony Stewart, it's Connor Daly up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, go ahead.
We saw the fire out of your eyes after the heat races. Marco moved you out of the way. Are we going to be vacationing with him in the offseason now?
Oh, yeah. He's going to start paying for more of it, though. Normally finds a way to pass the buck to me, but he's doing good tonight. He can keep his thing together. He's going to be hard to beat, but we'll make it a rip.
It looked like you let him off pretty easy earlier. I'm sure you've got some more in store for him later.
Yeah, not my first go roping.
Well, I can't wait to see what you got in your bag of tricks. So we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, feel free to chime in anytime.
I love Tony Stewart.
Tony Stewart in second place. Yeah, and it's just, you know, for him, yeah, what do you want?
A casual conversation at 161 beats per minute. That is a very high heart rate. These drivers are working extremely hard. These absolute athletes out there. It's impressive.
Our Whoop Live, monitoring real time from the race car. All right, Stewart with a little look underneath Andretti. Things kind of settled in line behind them back through the top 7 or 8. Here he goes, all 4 wheels on the apron, looking for a little grip to make a run.
Major line change there from Tony. I think he's just basically trying to figure out what he can use later in the race. We've got a lot of laps to go. How quick is he going to be able to get off that corner and get underneath Marco?
All right, so put me behind the wheel. You're Marco. You see Tony do that. Does it affect you?
Well, it didn't work, so I guess he can be pretty happy about that. But when you're in the lead, it's tough. I mean, you're trying everything you can to be smooth, because one tiny mistake, you know these guys will take advantage of it. And it's always best to be out front because you've got nothing ahead of you. But once you make a tiny mistake or get hit in the rear by Tony Stewart, then you're a victim.
Better to have the lead than to want the lead.
I love being in the lead. I promise you that.
Yes, sir.
Just a nice, friendly tap.
Just a little let you know I'm still here, in case you forgot about me.
We can see all the Goodyear rubbed off the left front of Tony's car already, so he's had a lot of contact tonight, but I don't think there's any drivers who haven't hit anyone yet.
Yes, pretty tight quarters here at South Boston Speedway. So it is Andretti, Stewart, Biffle, Labonte, Newman. Those are your top 5. Then Castroneves in 6th. All right, there's the caution flag.
Good old fun flag.
Yeah, fun flag. And they'll double them up for a restart in just a minute. Quarter distance through our main event on Superstar Saturday night tonight at South Boston Speedway. The Camping World SRX Series at South Boston, Virginia, located between Richmond, Lynchburg, and Greensboro in the south central part of the Commonwealth. Racing here for 65 years, and tonight the superstars are here, and Marco Andretti is our race leader. Marco with the win at Slinger, Wisconsin, an SRX competition last year, and a little Marco racing history. On this date in 2011, Marco won the IndyCar race at Iowa Speedway.
I love to see it. I was not there, but I do remember watching on television. Marco is such a talented guy, and also one of the best dudes that I think I've known in my career. He even sponsored me when I was 23 years old, trying to get into IndyCar, getting a test. Marco sponsored me with his own money to help me get one of my first IndyCar tests. So a really cool deal from Marco.
It's fun, and he has certainly enjoyed being behind the wheel of these SRX cars last season and this.
Absolutely, because he can get right home tonight on his private airplane and get straight to the bar, and I respect that.
Okay. Restart coming in 2 more laps. Paul Tracy has been on the pit road under this caution flag. His car not making a whole lot of progress in this main event after getting spun around in the heat race a little while ago. So it's Andretti and Stewart side by side for the restart. Then it'll be Greg Biffle and Bobby Labonte in row number 2. Ryan Newman will have Elio Castro-Neves to his outside in row number 3 as they come to the start-finish line and get the signal. 1 more lap, and we'll go back racing.
What did these guys learn from each other? What did they learn from each other on that first stint? And who's going to send who first into the wall?
You're anticipating that.
Oh, I for sure am. I am so pumped to see someone get absolutely drilled on one of these restarts, because it's definitely coming. It's not a question of if, it's when.
Pace cars off. This big crowd back on its feet, making some noise as they come for the restart.
Greg Biffle has, I think, had one of the best races so far. He's been sneaky, but he's right there in third, and he was quick in the heats too. So I'm excited to see what he can do as we wind these laps down.
Stewart with a good run off of turn number 4 on the top side, takes the lead and tries to shut the door on Marco Andretti.
I think Marco's going to have to get up to that top side to see what that feels like, because later you might have to use it if you're trying to go side by side for the win.
Biffle inside of the body right behind them for thirds.
Oh, another crash in the back. Paul Tracy just got fendered into the wall.
Caution flag is out. That is a hurt race car. Ooh, look at that. Hunter Ray.
Paul just a victim here yet again. Hunter Ray almost losing it. And then as soon as that contact happened, the left front on Paul's car is broken, and he can't control it, and into the wall he goes.
Man.
Don't go to Vegas with Paul anytime soon. Goodness gracious, he couldn't buy luck. That is a tough hit, honestly. No safer barriers around here. A little bit old schooler track. Yeah, once these cars get sideways and they get next to each other, it's hard to kind of drift both cars like we saw Elio do earlier, and that's a shame to see for Paul, for sure.
Yeah. So the AMR safety team pays Paul a visit, and the SRX crew has some work to do to get that car ready for next week's race on Saturday night in Stafford Springs, Connecticut.
Yeah, they might have to change everything but the color on that thing to get it ready for next weekend.
And with the luck he had tonight, he may want him to change the color too.
Yeah.
You know?
Full rebrand for Paul next weekend.
Yeah. Well, Paul's loving being part of this SRX series, and he doesn't shy away from the bad boy role and the aggressive reputation that he has on the racetrack, but he has not had a lot of fun tonight here at South Boston. Ryan Hunter Ray's car is all torn up on the right side also.
Yeah, when you see these cars sliding into each other side by side like that, these body works are sharp, and they can cut tires down quite easily.
So PT out of the car, they work on the Hunter Ray car, and we work the caution flag at lap 38 of 100. Pretty good fight up front between Andretti and Stewart. Pretty hard hit in back for PT. Yeah, ooh, that one hurt. Under caution here in South Boston in our Superstar Saturday night, getting Paul Tracy's car moved away from where it had come to rest, which was not in a safe place for us to resume racing. Ryan Hunter-Reay back on the racetrack after a visit to pit road for some crash damage repair.
Yeah, it looks like he tried to get in a little bit too hot underneath Peyton Sellers there, and that'll happen. You had to use the other car as a brake, which when you hit that other car, that's only on your right front, and when you're already halfway crossed up, it's so easy to lose the car when you take quite a hit to that right front. So tough to see for Ryan.
And if you're a regular fan of racing and you expect to hear, about spotters and things like that, just remember in SRX there are no spotters. You are on your own inside that race car.
And that is wild because I love my spotters. They're the most trusted people in motorsport. They're keeping us on the straight and narrow path in these races, and it's pretty wild that these guys don't have them.
All right, one to go, and we'll get ready to go back racing with Marco Andretti in orange and Tony Stewart in red. Still double wide on the front row. Biffle in gold, Bobby Labonte in white in row number 2. And everybody on the racetrack except Paul Tracy will hear from PT in just a minute. First, though, we expect this restart to be kind of exciting.
I can't wait. This sneaky second row is looking real good, too. Greg Biffle and Bobby Labonte, I think, are just waiting to make their moves.
Here they come to the green flag.
Great start by Tony there. Getting clear of Marco. That's exactly what he needed to do.
Labonte tried to get to the outside of Andretti to pin him down low off turn 2. Just couldn't quite get there. And now he's, then more contact. Kanaan and Francis back in the pack.
I was going to say, Tony Kanaan's had a nice and quiet night so far, but here he is, wheel to wheel, banging doors.
TK trying to get to the outside of Castro Neves. Might have run it in there a little too hot.
Yeah, but you know what? That's good experience for later. He really tried to find out the limit of the outside there and how much grip he could find.
I talked with Tony and Elio as we watch Greg Biffle get clear of Bobby Labonte in third place. I have so much respect for these guys from the IndyCar world coming to these basically stock car chassis on short tracks. It's totally foreign to their experience in all their racing careers. And not only feeling it out, but doing it well, like we saw last Saturday night when Kanaan and Castro Neves raced for the win.
Absolutely. I mean, we as IndyCar drivers are used to very stiff, very low cars, a ton of downforce, and there are essentially no downforce in these cars, and very soft chassis. So quite a different feel out of the car.
Well, an IndyCar guy who's not had a fun night here tonight, he is standing by with Matt Yoder.
His car is back in the SRX garage, and Paul Tracy every Sunday. Paul, your critique of your performance and everybody else's. How are you going to describe tonight's action for you?
I mean, I don't know what was going on with Hunter-Reay and Sellers. Were just like beating on each other, and Hunter-Reay went completely sideways, and I tried to go around him, and then we got into each other, and I think my inside front tire hit his tailpipe, and it cut my tire down, and it just shot me into the wall. So man, I got beat up tonight. I was just trying to do my best.
You know, Alan, he said this year going in, the strategy was going to be maybe be a little bit less aggressive and be there to finish the score or trophy. He might need to ramp it back up a little bit. He got beat up tonight here in South Boston.
And not a fun night for PT here in Virginia. Pretty good fight up front. Marco Andretti and Tony Stewart trading paint, trading bumpers, trading the lead.
This has been a great battle, honestly. These guys are putting on a fantastic show for all the fans here. Andretti versus Stewart, I mean, that's two incredible names right there.
This is from Marco's back bumper.
Yep, classic bump and run. Marco trying to get the thing slowed up at the apex and just get moved out of the way for Tony Stewart.
And while those two have messed around for the lead, Greg Biffle has closed in on Tony Stewart in third place. There are your top three. Bobby Labonte a couple of car lengths further back in fourth.
The track does seem to be widening out a little bit, which is good to see for later. I mean, guys running low, guys running high, guys now sliding through the apex a little bit.
Watch Michael Waltrip in the blue car here with Peyton Sellers.
That is a wild ride. It's very impressive. Those guys all sticking out of the wall.
Waltrip running in ninth place. Peyton Sellers is back in 11th. Talked with Sellers earlier today. He said, you know, this SRX car drives nothing like his car that he's driven to dozens of wins here. Being in this race, so important to him. Peyton Sellers is the championship leader at Dominion Speedway up the road, and he missed the race there tonight that his race team is still competing in, so he could race with the superstars here in South Boston.
Well, you have to take this opportunity when you get it. I mean, this has got to be one of the most fun racing series right now to be a part of.
So again, watch here, Andretti and Stewart.
Tony is just letting him know he's there, playing with him a little bit, getting him rattled, but Marco's holding on strong.
Greg Biffle is closed right in. Bobby Labonte had a little contact a minute ago with Ryan Newman, and that has allowed Helio Castroneves to get to the inside of Newman and grab a spot. Here comes now Stewart to the inside of Marco. More contact.
And that was exactly what Stewart needed. He used the bumper just to get him crossed up enough, and now Marco's going to get freight trained by Greg Biffle as well. That's the ultimate worst thing that could have happened there. But here he goes.
Look out.
No.
And around he goes in front of the pack.
Oh, the old chrome horn just didn't work out that time.
Trouble in turn 4 as the race for second place went sideways for Marco Andretti.
It is so easy as a driver. When you get moved out of the way like Marco just did, you want to come right back against these guys and show them who's boss. And sadly, it just didn't work out properly for Marco there. You hate to see it. He was having such a great night.
Yeah. And the front end on that thing may not be all aligned properly anymore either from looking at that right front tire.
Yeah, we saw Greg get the move done, but when Greg fired it down the inside there, Marco had a great opportunity to come back underneath him, but that was brave, and I'm glad everyone else avoided him as well.
Good save by Biffle.
Really good save by Biffle. You saw him straighten the car out, lock the brakes a little bit to get her tied down, and everyone else missed Marco.
Watch Castroneves, first Bobby Labonte, then Helio Castroneves, white and red cars here. Watch them miss Andretti's sliding car.
Well, they both are past the age 40, but they got lightning reflexes.
At real speed.
It's impressive, actually, how quickly Marco got that car turned. And maybe we should dial up Marco to see what happened. Marco, it's Connor Daly up in the booth. You there, buddy? Marco, you got me up in the booth here?
Yo, I got you there talking.
So what's going on, man? You've been fast all night. People are using the bumper aggressively. How are we going to get back to the front?
You just said it, bud.
Well, I'm certainly going to be watching for you tonight, man. It's been a great night. I have faith in you. Let's go to the front.
Yeah, gonna try.
I can promise you that as an unhappy racing driver. I'm sweating after just having that conversation.
And Marco's crew chief down on pit road also maybe chiming in on the radio trying to...
We appreciate Mark. I'm going to write him a thank you letter later.
Will you?
Yeah.
Maybe more than that.
Yeah. Buy him 47 beers.
There you go. All right, so 2 laps till the restart. And as we approach the 3/4 mark of this race very quickly, now it's a whole new character that Tony Stewart has to deal with at the front of the pack, and that's Greg Biffle, former NASCAR Truck Series and NASCAR Xfinity Series champion, 51-year-old from the Pacific Northwest. Only raced a couple of races with SRX last year, did very well.
Yes, indeed. Greg Biffle was kind enough to let me use his motorhome for an Indy 500 one month of May.
I remember that because I was with you when you asked him about that, and he said, oh, yeah, that was you.
Yeah, I didn't think he actually realized that I was the one using it, but very kind gentleman.
So who do you think's been our driver of the night so far tonight? We're asking your opinion. Twitter.com's go to the SRX Racing to vote. Voting is open now. Your thoughts, please.
I mean, honestly, my driver of the night's definitely been Marco. I mean, the most consistent in the heats. Sadly got into a bit of a scuffle there. But how do you not go with either Marco or Tony Stewart?
Because we've still got like 33 laps to go in this, and there's room for that opinion to change right now.
The plot thickens.
Yes, it does. Biffle inside in gold, Stewart outside in red.
Tony Stewart did about 3 or 4 restarts alongside Marco Andretti. Now he's got a whole different person to battle, and he's known Greg Biffle a long time. They've done a lot of racing against each other.
Stewart with the advantage for now. Bobby Labonte looking for some running room as he clears Helio Castroneves for third.
We've got the NASCAR guys back to the front.
Oh, trouble. Car on the wall. Turn number 3. Michael Waltrip gets turned around and backs it into the outside wall.
That's heavy contact. You see the rear of that car is all kinds of messed up.
And got some help there from Ryan Hunter-Reay.
Yeah, what was odd about that is Michael already looked like he kind of lost it on the way in and then got assisted by Ryan Hunter-Reay. There's a lot of contact going on. And yeah, but Ryan just got into the corner. I mean, again, with these guys without spotters, it's so hard to tell when someone is there or not there. And Michael slid up a little bit, opening the door for Ryan. Ryan lets him know that he's there. And then Michael tried to close it down just a bit. But when Ryan's nose is already there, as an American hero would, he is not going to back out of that.
Michael just put himself on the track in front of Ryan Hunter-Reay and has just tried to, actually, they're still going at it down the backstretch live.
Yes, it looks like they are wrecking each other under yellow. I don't really know what to say about that. Oh, just a classic, hey, buddy. Oh. Honestly, I've never been in this situation in my career, so I'm not sure what was going on there, but there are some very unhappy drivers tonight.
You drive an Indy car, you're not going to get into those kind of things with the race car. I mean, come on.
I mean, yeah, there's a couple times where I feel like that's going to be necessary, but here in SRX, we see everything. We've seen everything tonight.
Yep. Yes, we have. So Hunter-Reay is in 8th position, and Michael Waltrip.
Yeah, that's this is a Michael Waltrip I love to see. He's got a lot of emotion. He's obviously an incredibly talented and successful driver, but he made sure Ryan Hunter-Reay. I think he just ripped the right front off Ryan Hunter-Reay's car.
He used that one up.
Honestly, if we set up a boxing ring later and just let these guys have at it, it would be hilarious.
Short track racing on a Saturday night.
Yeah. And the Michael Waltrip Brewing Company is going to be well used tonight because, sadly, he's going to be one of the first guys there.
He may not be done expressing his opinion either.
I mean, look, if he throws a helmet or two, I wouldn't be surprised. Sparks are flying. The tires are flying off that thing. He's got no rear end left on it. Look at him staring down the mirror. He's not looking forward at all. It's like, where is the American hero, Ryan Hunter-Reay? That might have been the most aggressive under yellow driving I've ever seen.
All right, Matt.
Well, we've got Michael Waltrip. 2 laps to go before we're going to go green. Take a look at the video real quick. What happened from your vantage point, Michael?
I got dumped, just halfway down the back. He got into me and never let me go. So, I just don't understand how that could happen.
Here he goes.
That's one hit. That's cool. And then he just keeps into me. And so, he's going to hear from Uncle Mike.
Yeah, Uncle Mike already gave him one message on the track. What's the second message going to be?
We're not having a beer together, A. But B, that's just not right. That's not how you race. And I didn't want to tear up his car. I just wanted to send a message. So hopefully message received, but I'm going to wait around and have a chat with him.
All right, well, Hunter-Reay remains on track in 10th position, and we've still got 25 laps to go in this one.
I would love to be down there for that chat post-race. 2 American absolute legends.
We can get you there. All right, coming to the green flag. Biffle inside, Stewart outside.
Massive jump by Tony there. Again, Greg Biffle played it safe down on the bottom. He's trying to close the door on Bobby Labonte, but he knows he's there. These guys are getting closer and closer. That restart was definitely one of the closest I think we've had tonight because it's getting later in the race.
Stewart clears Biffle for now. Labonte tries to follow around the outside.
And remember, Bobby Labonte has experience racing here. He's raced here most recently of anyone, and he knows how this track can evolve.
Bobby drives a Southern Modified Tour modified car. He raced here back in April in that machine. He's also got 3 NASCAR then Busch Series races under his belt in this place. Says the first time he came here was 1986. Not as a driver then.
There's a lot going on in this pack right now. It is getting very aggressive. I just saw Ryan and Marco, 4 teammates, start getting into each other. Marco's on his comeback tour. He's trying to make up space 1 lap at a time.
That's the view from the Biffle car in second. There is Ernie Francis Jr. Look to the inside as he completed a pass on Peyton Sellers. That's for 7th place.
And, you know, we haven't talked a lot about tire life tonight because there has been so many yellows. So under yellow, you have the opportunity to save a bit of tire. And can you be a little bit more aggressive on the restarts? Yes, absolutely. But we saw last weekend there were guys that hung around at the back that saved their tires for the last 10 laps, and it did pay off. Marco went from about 12th to 6th in 3 laps, and I'm just curious to see if that actually factors in here later as well.
Yeah, different place though, different night for sure. Tony Stewart, you're right on board with him. Tony actually has won here at South Boston Speedway before. October 13, 2001, he drove a USAC midget and won a 50-lap race here.
That's awesome. My boss Ed Carpenter raced here as well many years ago. Oh wow, yeah, Ryan Hunter race car is well, it's going to need a new paint job. It's going to need a lot of body work. Might as well just send that thing back to the shop.
And Sellers looking to see if he can find a way around Hunter Ray.
We see the glowing brake rotors as well now. That's the brakes are getting heavily used here just to get the thing slowed up enough to get some grip at the apex. And I love night racing because we see those rotors glowing every time you go into 1 and 3.
Down to 16 laps to go. First side-by-side race in line is for 4th place. That's where Ryan Newman has Helio Castroneves to the inside of him for that spot, while Tony Stewart continues to lead.
Yeah, it's great racing right now. The NASCAR guys have found their way to the front. They are used to using their bumpers more than the open wheel guys are, and so, you know what? I'm not really surprised. Helio's got to lead the charge for us here towards the end of the race.
Helio's had a bit of a chaotic week. He was moving this week to a new home, and anybody that's ever moved knows how much that can make you pull your hair out.
Well, I can't afford a home yet, but someday I will, and I can't wait to move into one.
Okay, you moved to a new apartment. Same difficulty almost, right?
Let's hope so.
He was supposed to move, and things weren't finished, so the move hasn't been completed yet. So I don't want to call Helio Castroneves homeless.
Well,
but
yeah, the disrespect for the 4-time Indy 500 winner is a shame for sure.
Tony Stewart, 12 laps to go for Stewart. He has won your vote as our driver of the night. Almost half the vote coming in for Smoke. You've been around Tony for a lot of years.
Yes.
What makes him so good in almost any kind of race car he gets in?
Well, the interesting thing about Tony Stewart is I think a lot of us remember him as a stock car legend, obviously won so many races, but like also an IndyCar driver as well. And he's driven everything. He's been good in everything. And I mean, he's just one of the names that in motorsport in general you probably know. There's not many people who are going to be like, Tony Stewart, never heard of the guy. So it's pretty cool to be at that level.
Bouncing back from the worst finish in an SRX race that he had a week ago down at Five Flags Speedway in Florida.
Yeah, it's going to be real hard to beat Tony tonight. I mean, he's found the speed here. He's kept his tires underneath him, and it's kind of stretching out now to be one of those races where it might be tough to pass towards the end.
8 laps to go. For Tony Stewart, 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, 2-time Brickyard 400 winner, NASCAR Hall of Fame inductee. The Indianapolis Motor Speedway Hall of Fame has inducted him as well. And one of the 4 founding partners of the SRX series. Ernie Francis Jr., Marco Andretti, Ryan Hunter-Reay, 598 and 1. Hunter-Reay's car, I can't believe it's still running like even that well, as beaten up as it is.
Absolutely, and you can definitely tell Marco's been one of the fastest guys here tonight. I mean, he had to start at the back, made up a couple spots, but when everyone is this good and everyone is this close, it is very, very hard to come from the back in one of these races. Track position is king, some would say.
Well, Marco finished 3rd in Heat 1 and 2nd in Heat 2, but got knocked around when he tried to come back on Greg Biffle, racing for the 2nd position a little while ago. Now Biffle in 2nd, trying to maybe backed off a little, conserved a little tire.
Oh, yes. This is exactly what everyone wants to see. 4 laps to go, coming to 3 to go. 2 complete legends of America battling it out for the win. I can't wait to see what happens. I think Greg feeds in the wheel.
Do you?
Absolutely.
Well, he's only got a few laps left to do it.
The gold number 69 wagon is definitely not getting out of here without a bit of contact.
So 2 laps to go in our main event.
Is he close enough? Can he just get a run out of these corners to just get close enough? You can't completely wreck Tony, but man, I can't wait to see if he fires it in there.
White flag is out. Final lap here at South Boston. Looks like Biffle just cooled it down and tried to catch him, but couldn't get it done. The man on the night in SRX race number 2 for this season is Tony Stewart. Last year's champion wins it.
Great drive from Tony all night long. Such a talent. He was the most angry person I've ever seen after the heats, and now he's going to be the happiest person. There's only one happy person after a race.
Said he was going to show him how it's done.
He did it.
He just showed him how it's done.
I appreciate what you did there, buddy.
Is it a bad pun to say we've had some fireworks tonight at South Boston?
This might have been one of the most fun Saturday nights I've ever been a part of.
We tore up some
Camping World SRX Series on CBS Sports is sponsored by Progressive. Save when you bundle auto, home, or motorcycle insurance. And by Camping World. Camp for less with Camping World.
Coming up next on CBS, 48 hours, a young woman disappears after a Snapchat rendezvous. The murder that inspired a law. How Nikki Story started a movement. 48 hours tonight, next on CBS. Let's take a look at our top three tonight in this SRX series race at South Boston. Tony Stewart turning the anger into fuel and ending up on top. Greg Biffle following suit. Bobby Labonte working his way up to the field to finish third. But our Matt Yoakum is standing with the winner, Tony Stewart. Yoakum.
And Smoke, Tony Stewart jumped up on top of the roof, helmet still on, started pointing at the fans. What was the most satisfying part of the win tonight for you, for the show you put on for those fans?
Seeing these fans cheering when we got the lead every time. That's what kept the motivation going. It's not like I need much motivation, but when you got fans at South Boston cheering like that every time you get the lead, by God, you aren't going to let them down.
And Biffle started making a run there about 3 laps ago, started closing in. How concerned were you?
Well, I was worried we'd get a caution late, so I tried to just take care of them there, but I think back in my pace-off actually hurt me versus helping me. I thought I was trying to take care of it, and I think I was making some problems a little bit worse by not running as hard as it was earlier than that. But this thing was really good. When we practiced today, it rolled the corner really nice. It was a little bit loose off, and I was worried about it. I haven't been to South Boston since I ran a midget clear back in 2001 or 2 or something like that. So didn't know, couldn't remember the characteristics of what this track does when it cools off. But I was hoping it was going to tighten up, and it did a little bit, just not as much as we needed.
The 2021 champ takes his first of the year, Lindsay.
Thank you, Yoakum. Yep. Here's another look at the final results. We can say that we saw a little bit of everything tonight. South Boston Speedway did not disappoint. Short track, short fuses, tension that turned into aggravation on the track that played out into Tony Stewart winning it all. Next week, we're going to see you from Stafford Springs up in New England. But for all of us tonight, we want to say thank you for watching. For Alan Bestwick, Hunter Daly, Willie T. Ribbs, Matt Yoakum, and our entire crew, I'm Lindsay Zarniak saying good night from South Boston. We can't wait to see you next week from Connecticut. Good night, everyone.